They don't date us at all. They never have, don't plan to, all the while understanding that, oh, if I say I fuck with y'all, I know y'all will fuck with me, and you'll defend the bullshit that I do regardless, because you'll be clouded by the fact that you're just so happy to have somebody say, oh, I love black women, that at the end of the day, sometimes you don't even care if it's true because you're just so happy that somebody's saying it because you're not used to anybody saying it. I get that cash and I flip it, yeah. I get that cash and I flip it. Hello to all of my cherry bombs. It is time for another Melanated Monday. You already know what time it is. And we are going to be, this one might be a little long just because I lack the ability to talk and do my makeup. But also, there's just been a lot going on and I'm late to the party. And, well, let me not even call it a party because it's just a lot of just mess. And, yeah, there's just been a lot going on. So we are going to get right into this. I'm not going to ramble a whole lot. This is the completed look. If you want to see how I got to this end result, please continue to watch the video. Turn on my post notifications, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment down below. And all my social media is linked in the description box down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and let's get right into it. So before I even get started talking about these topics, I just want to say that when you are seeing me put my products up in the camera, don't judge me because I'm getting tired of like trying to ride it along the screen. So I'm just gonna like try and show you guys as I go. And I do not understand and ignore this white cast right now because I did my eyebrows and so everything was just. But I've said this in a previous makeup video before. I don't understand how these beauty influencers, when they show you guys these palettes and whatnot, he's showing y'all these clean ass, like, just all put together palettes. And I be looking at mine like, I don't know if they have a palette that they show on camera and then the one that they actually use or what the case is. But my palettes be, baby, I be having fallout on my palettes. I got eyelash glue on the back of this one I'm about to show y'all. Like, I just don't know how people be keeping their stuff so clean for the camera when it's stuff that you use regularly every day. And I know the average person does not clean every single inch of their makeup every single day. Like for me, I clean my brushes. I try to clean them once a week. Sometimes once every other week. Judge me if you will. If I'm doing like when I do, but that's my like the stuff I use on my face. If I do clients and stuff, I'm a lot different about it. I clean everything in between each client. But as for like my personal makeup, like I'm a like every like once a week type, once every other week type of bitch. So yeah, so just don't judge me when you see me holding these things up because it is what it is. Okay, but let's get on to this video. We have a lot to discuss today. So before I even get started discussing everything, I'm going into my Anastasia Beverly Hills the powder bronzer in Mahogany is what I'm about to use as my transition color because it actually looks something like saddle, and I don't feel like going to grab my saddle right now. It's just a tiny bit darker than saddle, but it looks pretty pretty spot on. And this is just like a makeup hack. Sometimes I'll use my contour powder as a transition powder for my eyelid. Makeup has multiple functions, like, and people sometimes don't talk about that part, but it does. So anyway, I think first things first, let's talk about Juvia's place because a lot of people have been talking about this, and this has been a big issue that's been going on the past, probably like the past like week, is the fact that, okay, so I don't really have to explain a whole lot because y'all really know, most of y'all who are watching this know what Juvia's place is. Juvia's Place is a company that we all have perceived in the past to be black owned. Now it's coming into question because now we just don't, baby, I can't even tell you. Like, we don't know. And this company that has been promoting itself as a black owned company has been using a lot of African imagery to basically lure in the black dollar. And before all this happened, we saw that as, you know, the company was very pro-black, and it was nice to see a company that had representation for Black people, especially African people, in the makeup industry, makeup community. It was like a breath of fresh air. So I really liked Juvia's Place. And recently what happened was Jeffree Star promoted a Juvia's Place palette, I guess, that he went and bought. And Juvia's Place in turn went and reposted him on their page and was just basically like kissing his ass for reposting this palette. And it's not the issue that he was promoting it, because you can't control who promotes your stuff. It's more so the issue that Jeffree Star is known for being a fucking racist, and he's very controversial, and he has said a lot of derogatory, offensive things against Black women. And for Juvia's Place to depict themselves as a Black-owned company and promote Black imagery, and basically like just to promote it as if they are here for Black people, and then to repost a well-known racist is like very contradictory. And so people had an issue. And so the owner of Juvia's Place and Jackie Aina, I guess, were exchanging, like they had an exchange going back and forth. And first off, with this exchange, so I'm carving my crease out with this oh my god. So I'm carving my crease out with this Anastasia Beverly Hills concealer in 1.0. It is a cream concealer pot. So as I was saying, the owner and Jackie Aina, which, don't be coming for Auntie Jackie, okay? Like, baby, don't come for Jackie. We love Jackie, okay? And they had an exchange into which the owner of Juvia's Place was basically saying that Jackie Aina slept with a married man and she's fraudulent and like all this other mess. And my take on that exchange, honestly, is that the face of, I'm about to stop calling her the owner because at this point we don't know. She's just the face of Juvia's Place, as far as my understanding is at this point. Like, I'm really confused. I have no idea. Proceeded to have that exchange with Jackie, and I just feel like it was so unprofessional and so distasteful. And not only that, but you know, this alleged affair, if it even happened or ever was a thing, has nothing to do with the topic at hand. It literally has nothing to do with the topic at hand. It is the perfect example of when people are arguing with you and they don't have anything relevant to the argument to actually prove their stance on what they're trying to, like, they can't prove their stance. And so instead of arguing with you and staying focused on the topic at hand, they start trying to take personal jabs or throw little low blows and personal shots instead of just talking about whatever the issue is. And that's what I saw when Chi proceeded to attempt, and I say attempt very strongly, to quote-unquote out Jackie Aina for this alleged affair, and just to attempt to discredit her and make people feel like, oh, she's so shady or she's so shiesty. And at the end of the day, like, we've seen Jackie grow as a channel. We've gotten to see a lot of her personality, and we've grown to respect it and admire it. And I think Chi was just trying to be like, oh, you know, I see that she's respected in this community, and if she calls me out, they're really going to take this into consideration. And she felt mad about that, and so she said, okay, well, let me try and say something that makes people feel like that paints her in a bad light. Let me try and pull something out of the vault to make her look like she ain't shit, basically. I just feel like that was so, like, it was just very childish. Like, I feel like Jackie's responses to Chi were very, like, well spoken and very relevant to the topic. And I feel like Chi-Chi's responses to Jackie sounded like something like when you're like in a high school argument. Like, literally, they just sounded very childish. I just don't understand how you can be like that high up in a company and not know how to handle conflict without being that childish. And the whole issue at hand, honestly, even outside of the trying to come for Jackie and all this other like mess that Chi was doing, as far as just being very disrespectful towards other black influencers as well, like Alyssa Ashley. That whole situation turned me off. But what turned me off the most out of this was the fact that through this whole entire situation, it's really been brought to light, and I've been watching people's videos on it and stuff, and just gaining more and more insight on the situation. And it just really brought to light the fact that Juvia's place, when you really look at it, they do not promote black people. They promote a lot of white influencers, but then they try to get the black dollar while not really respecting the black community. And ultimately, I've decided that from now on, because I do have a Juvia's Place palette, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I'm gonna get my money's worth out of it. I no longer F with that company, but I'm gonna get my money's worth out of it and finish this palette out. But I will no longer be like, when I'm using the palette, I will no longer be letting people know what I'm using when it's coming out of that palette. If anything, I will give you guys, I'll try to give you guys dupes for other companies, other products that look relatively the same, because I'm just very disappointed in them and I can't get with it. People do understand that they can market to us and get our money, and they don't expect the black community, like, things like this, people don't expect the black community to stay mad long. And because we have had a history for not staying mad long, half the time they know that they can get away with things like this. And even with this situation, it's like, I hope that people are actually going to hold up, but I know in reality they're not. And people will, this is going to blow over by the end of this week going into next week. And people are still going to buy Juvia's Place. Black women are still going to buy Juvia's Place, even though they have openly shown us that they falsely represent us. I like to support those who support me, and if you are openly showing me that you really don't fuck with me, then it's like, why am I gonna fuck with you? Why am I gonna put money in your pocket? I'm not doing that. So ultimately, that's my take on the situation. So the second thing I want to talk about is the Tory Lanez situation that happened, I want to say last week, or maybe it's been a week and a half. I want to say last week. But honestly, there's been a lot going on, so ain't no telling. But basically, there was an issue where Tory Lanez claimed to be standing up for a dark-skinned black model named Sultry Shin, I think was her name. And basically the model spoke up and was saying that everything was really just a show, like to put on a show for the camera to make it seem as if he stood up for her because they were trying to remove her from a scene in a music video to replace her with the light-skinned girl. And Tory, on the other hand, was painting it out as basically saying this is a big thing that goes on in the industry and nobody speaks on it, aka like black men don't speak on it ever. And the model came out and said that it was just for show. So on one end you have Tory Lanez getting praised for speaking up for this dark-skinned model, and on the other end you have the model basically airing him out and saying that no, this is not what that was. And I think it's even sad that us as women in the black community were so hyped and so excited to finally see a black man stand up for us. And I think that really is sad, and it goes to show just how often we are disrespected by our own men and we are let down by our own men, that we would be ecstatic. So this is Smashbox in 4.0. This is the studio skin. It's just sad to me that we as a community got so excited because it's such a rarity to see black men defend us and stand up for us. I think that was the saddest part of this whole thing, was that we got so excited. And me included. I was at first, when it first happened, before the model spoke out, I was so excited that a black man was finally speaking up, especially a black man in his industry, because in his industry, they never speak up for us, ever, 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 ever. They market to us, they take our money, but they do not speak up for us. And you know, they don't date us, they don't put us on these same pedestals that they put races of other women on, and it is so sad. So at first I too was so excited, and when she came out and said that that wasn't the case, it really brings up a good point that a lot of people were bringing up in one of my other videos, where I was talking about, can you be pro-black and date interracially? And a lot of people were in the comments saying, you know, I don't like to consider myself pro-black, I like to consider myself pro-black woman. And when they explain, or when y'all explain to me why you feel that way, I completely understood where you were coming from. I think y'all brought up a great point, and I think y'all brought up a great point because what I noticed, and I've noticed this before and I've spoken on this before, but it made me think even deeper into the fact that we as black women so often speak up and defend black men, and in return, we never get that in return. We never get that in return. When things happen with police brutality, we speak up for them and we're like, you know, protect our black men, please protect our black brothers. We're very, very vocal about it. Time and time again, we defend the hell out of our men. We defend our men so hard. And these same men that we go defend, and I know I'll get backlash from them in these comments, because whenever I speak on colorism or black men and women in the community and stuff, I always get the most hate from black males, but I'm just gonna have to make y'all mad. I'm sorry. Not saying that I don't love y'all, because I do love you guys and I have respect for you guys. But because I love you, I'm not about to kiss your ass and I'm gonna call you on your shit. So time and time again, we have defended these black men, and when it comes to getting the same in return, they allow everybody under the sun to disrespect the living hell out of us as black women. They do. They allow non-black women to talk down on us and say that they're better than us. Black men have allowed women, non-black women, to start to really believe this narrative that they are better than us, because black men have hyped them up and perpetuated this with them and have defended them when they speak on the fact that they're better than us. Black men have notoriously defended these women and defended them against us being offended by what they're saying. And black men basically have said, oh, you know, you guys are bitter, you all are sensitive, like us as black women. They've said we're bitter, we're sensitive, we shouldn't feel any type of way. But then in the same breath, when I see YouTubers on here who speak on these same topics, and when they say stuff like, oh, black women need to look in other directions because black men are not always the most respectful of us. When YouTubers say things like that, or anybody, you know, any type of bloggers or anything that say anything about the fact that maybe black women should consider dating outside of the dating pool because we are so faithful to only dating black men and they do not reciprocate that for us. Black men jump down these same people's throats and, you know, be ready to cuss them out when they say that maybe we should consider doing exactly what they're doing, and maybe we should expand our dating pool too. And by the way, this is why I literally can't do my makeup and talk, you guys, because I be forgetting. So this is the Absolute New York Starry Eyed Matte Liquid Eyeliner. I love this eyeliner. It literally dries so matte, and Absolute New York is just cheap. Like, some things you have to spend money on, but a lot of things are, when it comes to makeup, are really finessable. And this is one of them. So when you guys presented me with this pro-black woman argument, I really 100% understood where you all were coming from. I really did. I've been saying this, but I never gave what I was talking about a name. And when you all presented me with that, I was like, okay. When I've said stuff like this in the past, I'm speaking from a pro-black woman perspective. And I don't know why it took me so long to actually realize that that's what I needed to be calling it. So I'm using the Glamouflage Hard Candy Concealer. Back to the Tory Lanez situation, because black men have been notorious, especially black men in the media, have been notorious for profiting off of us black women while not actually supporting us, really like speaking up for us, because they have been notorious for this. It makes it hard to trust Tory Lanez on this. I'm gonna just be honest. It makes it very hard to trust that he might not be lying, because time and time again we have seen where black men understand they can make money off of us by saying, oh, I love black women, black queens, you guys are so beautiful, shout out to all my queens out here. While if you look at their dating portfolio, they don't even date us. They don't date us at all. They never have, don't plan to. All the while understanding that, oh, if I say I fuck with y'all, I know y'all will fuck with me, and you'll defend the bullshit that I do regardless, because you'll be clouded by the fact that you're just so happy to have somebody say, oh, I love black women, that at the end of the day, sometimes you don't even care if it's true, because you're just so happy that somebody's saying it, because you're not used to anybody saying it. And it's gotten to the point where we accept just the slightest bit of attention, even if the attention isn't genuine. We have to not do that. Us as black women, we have to not do that. We have to not accept whatever they give us just because we want this love from black men so bad. So now I'm going in with my medium dark MAC mineralized skin finish over the hard candy concealer, because I don't want it to be this light. And lastly, so there was I guess it was a tweet that Kevin McCall put out, and he was saying in the tweet, I'll put the tweet to the side because I don't remember verbatim what he said in the tweet, but basically the essence of the tweet was that he feels as though he gets more heat from Africans than African American people, something of the sort, of that nature. And when it comes to that tweet, I then saw two of the YouTubers that I like to watch. I saw them talking about the issue too, and I know that I also talked about the issue in my first ever, I think it was my first ever Makeup Monday. I was talking about the issue as well, just based off experiences that I too have gone through when it comes to the divide between Africans and African Americans, which is very unfortunate, because I just feel like we're coming from a place where it's like everybody's black, and as black and brown people, we should just all want to see each other win. Now, me personally, I do not like Kevin McCall at the fuck all. He just seems very narcissistic, very emotionally unhealthy, and I just don't be here for his shenanigans. Like, I just feel like he just always needs so much attention, and he's just childish to me, and so he gets on my nerves. So I don't care for him at all. But the topic itself is interesting, because when you hear everybody speak on it, and I know that when I spoke on it, I got a lot of interesting feedback, and it's interesting to see African people's perspective on the issue versus African American people's perspective. And I don't want the topic to be seen as like a, oh my god, you guys are talking about it to divide us even more type thing. No, like, it's just something that, needs to be talked about, and it's good to be able to have healthy dialogue on opposing opinions. I feel like it's very good to have healthy dialogue without either party having to feel like, they're being attacked or people are coming for them. And so me talking about this is just to have, like, healthy dialogue on the topic, because I do want to see everybody's different opinions on the topic. Based off my last Makeup Monday where I did discuss this, I actually was pretty proud of the comments, because I was expecting people to, and this wasn't the reaction I wanted, but I was just expecting people to kind of like take it offensively or get in their feelings about it and feel like I was trying to bash them, because I just figured it was going to be taken the wrong way. But actually it wasn't, and I got a lot of people who, as African people themselves, came in my comments and were like, yo, like, I definitely see where you're coming from, because growing up, my parents did raise me to feel like, I need to distance myself from African American people because they were thugs or they were lazy, because they lacked culture and just all these other things. And on the other end, I also understood where African people of African descent were coming from when they said, my parents were teaching me to stay away from African American kids, and African American kids were teasing me at school because they were saying I was an African booty scratcher, or saying, commenting on the color of my skin, or saying go back to Africa, just like all types of just very, very ignorant, hateful, and offensive things to say to somebody. And as a child, I can see where that would traumatize you and really mold your views on that group of people. I can definitely see where that would make you feel like I don't really want to be around this demographic of people because they don't make me feel good about myself. And it's sad. And I think both parties are wrong. And the reason I say both parties are wrong is because, like I said, African American people should not be making fun of African people and talking about, oh, you're so black, and clicking their tongues at them, talking about them, oh, do you this your language, right? You should understand it. Like, just saying just very ignorant things that show your lack of cultural knowledge. Not lack of culture, but your lack of cultural knowledge when it comes to other cultures of people, and your ignorance on it. And that's so unattractive. And I can see where that would be off-putting to a lot of young African people growing up in the States who would feel like they're being insulted all the time by these people that, kind of almost look like me. And I don't understand why, if we all look alike and we're all supposed to be aiming for the same thing, why are they making fun of me? Why are they treating me like this? I definitely can understand where that hurt would come from. That's very hurtful. That's very hurtful. But on the other end, that does not make it right to then turn around and be like, oh, I hate black people. They're so lazy. They're so dirty. Ew, I'm so above them. Because what I've noticed in this argument between the two sides, I hate to say two sides because, again, we should all just be focused on the same end goal. But what I see in this argument is, again, I said this in one of my other videos, is the whole, well, you guys did this to me, so I have a right to treat you like this. And that's kind of when I look at the African, when I hear African people speak on the issue, a lot of the time that's kind of what I hear is, oh, well, you treated me this way, so this is why I don't like y'all. And it's not right. It doesn't make it right. It's not okay. This literally the same as when, say, a white person as a kid grows up at an all-black school and all the black kids tease them, and then in turn, because all the black kids tease them, now they're like, this is why I hate you niggers, I hate black people, all you guys are this way, and F you guys. Does that sound okay? Like, does that sound right? Because that's what I see African people, like, that's kind of like the argument that I keep hearing is, oh, well, as a kid, they called me out of my name and they made fun of me, so this is why I'm better than you, and this is why I feel like you're just so below me and just ill. Like, I don't want to be associated with your kind. And it's not right on either end. It's not right on either end. Like, that's not okay. So I think African American people have to take accountability 100% for our ill treatment of African people, for sure. And I think African people need to take accountability for their, and when I say this, I'm not saying all. I'm just saying for the portion of people that do feel this way on both sides, I think African people need to take accountability for their very distasteful views on black people. It's just not okay on either end. Like, we just all need to be working towards the same end result. And the end result should just be black unity overall, whether you are African, whether you're Caribbean, whether you're African American, whether you're Afro-Latino. We just all need to be focused on black unity and not dividing ourselves and trying to work against each other and trying to say, oh, well, I'm better than you, or oh, you're not like me, or, like, we just need to cut all that out and just focus on Black unity as a whole. And I just hate to see everybody try to work against each other or try to be like, you know, try to separate themselves. I don't like to see that, because that's just not something that I feel like we should be doing. So I just hope that it's something that everybody can work through. But that's just my take on the issue. Please let me know you all's thoughts on everything that I've been talking about, and I will see you guys next Monday. And then also, please DM me topics that you want to hear me talk about. Please, when I do these community posts on YouTube, please comment underneath and tell me like what you want to hear me talk about on the next Makeup Monday. And yeah, you guys, I will see you all in my next one. So this is the finished look, you guys, and I hope you all enjoyed the video. I do realize in a lot of my statements I forgot to say some, so I will be going back in this video and adding that in, because I don't want to come off like I'm saying, oh, like all of, you know, one group of people. I don't want to come off like that. So I'm gonna go back and just insert those where they need to be inserted. And I hope it's able to open up the discussion, and not in a like, I just hope nobody takes offense, and it's able to open up the discussion as it was able to in my other Makeup Monday, where I discussed this same thing, which again, I actually was like really glad that people were receptive to it and weren't just like, like, you know. So I hope this one has the same effect, and I will see you guys in my next one.